And welcome everyone. I want to start by acknowledging just some of the people who helped make this morning's announcement possible. First of all, County Supervisors Ron Roberts and Bill Horn, our Chula Vista Fire Chief Dave Hanaman, and several people with the City of San Diego who helped bring this across the finish line. Rick Tallman, Roger Fisher, Dr. Jim Dunford, and of course our Fire Rescue Chief Javier Maynard. I think all of us know that sudden cardiac arrest can be a killer. And what we're doing today is announcing an excellent new tool for the San Diego region, the entire region, that will allow cardiac arrest victims to help get them the help they need and get it fast. The PulsePoint mobile app alerts CPR-trained individuals that somebody nearby is in cardiac arrest so they can help save a life. The app is activated simultaneously when one of the region's 5 public safety communication centers dispatches local fire and EMS personnel. The purpose of this app is to increase the survival rates of cardiac arrest victims, and it helps do that in several ways. First, it can help reduce the time between when someone collapses and when they start receiving, which can often be life-saving CPR. Second, it creates emergency awareness of the emergency beyond the people standing next to the person going into cardiac arrest. And it also shows the user where the nearest publicly available automated external defibrillator, or AED, is located through real-time mapping. This truly is cutting-edge technology that will help save lives. In addition to improving the chance, of course, of life-saving, the app also provides a virtual window into fire and EMS activity throughout San Diego County, offering a unique opportunity for civic engagement and transparency. And since the app requires a connection to the local public safety communication center, it is only available where adopted and implemented by the local fire or EMS agency. Last year, the city and the county began to explore the idea of using a smartphone app to bridge the gap between a cardiac arrest event and the arrival of first responders. The County of San Diego took the lead, getting the system in place and providing the initial funding. And for that, I'd like to thank Supervisor Roberts and Supervisor Horn. I'm also pledging today that the City of San Diego will fund our dispatch center's participation in the program next year. We know it's going to be successful, and we know this is something that we need to continue to enhance and grow. We also know that from first experience with other cities around the county, this app works and it saves lives throughout the country. And because of that, I'm encouraging our city's trained public safety officials, our police officers, our firefighters, our lifeguards, and our ambulance crews to download this free app. And the same goes for anyone who has learned compression-only CPR. By downloading this app, you can make the difference between life and death for a fellow San Diegan. That's what this is all about. So I want to thank everybody who's come together on this. This is a very exciting day and an exciting announcement. And I'd like to introduce Supervisor Ron Roberts. Ron?
Thank you, Mayor Faulkner, and good morning. This is a good news day, I'll share with you. We've been excited at developing a number of apps here that have really changed the playing field in many ways here in San Diego County, but this one I'm taking some particular pleasure in because this really has an opportunity to basically get people organized so we can save lives directly. I first learned about this by reading something that was going on in Sweden with a text-based system that they had put in place to speed up the response to cardiac arrest, and it sounded like a good idea, and it fit in with a lot of the things that we've done here in the county of San Diego and seemed like a very effective way to deliver services. Well, then we started to look into it, and I found way out in front of us was a former fire chief up in Northern California by the name of Richard Price. Richard's with us here today. Let's acknowledge him. He's done some wonderful things, but he started a foundation with the intention of, let's see if we can get this idea some legs here in California and even beyond. So thanks to Richard, we had an early meeting so I could learn more about what they were doing and seeing how we might go about bringing this to San Diego County. Once we had the meeting, there was no question in my mind, this was something we wanted to do. So, you know, at the county, if you want to do something, you have to have a partner so you can ensure you can get those 5 votes you need. You got to start with 2. And Supervisor Horn, who quickly picked up on the fact that this was a good idea, was very, very fast in responding. I want to be part of this. So we got together. We put a little money together from the county, a little bit over $100,000, and said, let's see if we can make this happen county-wide. Well, Richard and his team have been great partners. I'll share that with you. Ron Lane and Mark Rozier at the county staff have also been extremely helpful in making this happen. I want to thank both Ron and Mark. And I'm pleased to hear from Mayor Faulkner that, you know, the city wants to be very involved in this and is going to be a key partner with us in this. It's my hope that throughout the county, all of our dispatch agencies will be a part of this, and I think that's going to happen completely very soon. So we know this app works. We know it saves lives. I saw in the news in Portland that there was a clip that I just saw within the last few days about an off-duty firefighter who responded to his app and was actually able to save a life. And this was just recently. It shows you what can be done. Sudden cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death in the United States, killing about 1,000 people a day. 1,000 people a day. Worse than any of the wars we're involved with. Quick delivery of CPR is critical, and it can sustain a life until the paramedics arrive by helping to maintain the vital blood flow to the heart and the brain. It's critical. With PulsePoint, on thousands of San Diegans' phones, we can essentially crowdsource the delivery of early CPR before the first responders get there. It may be a first responder who's off duty, like the example I stated, but it may be somebody out there. It may be a citizen who just is familiar with CPR, is familiar enough with what we're going to do. So by doing so, we can mobilize thousands of residents who can have a chance to save a life, and even more importantly, to even improve the life of somebody that does survive. This is what it's all about, and that's why we're here today. I want to thank Cox Communications, who have been very helpful in assisting us. They've agreed to air a 30-second public service announcement for us that will help us to get the word out there. You'll be seeing us doing a lot of things to get the attention on this. But let me give my colleague, Supervisor Horn, a chance here. A big part of his district, he's got a very large district in terms of geography, and this is extremely important to him as it is to all the supervisors. Bill?
Thank you, Ron. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being part of this. As Ron mentioned, I have a very large district, over 1,860 square miles. I have a lot of communities where the first responder, even though we think it's fast, sometimes doesn't get there within 10 or 15 minutes. You got to realize I have Fallbrook, I have Duluth, Palomar Mountain, Palma Valley, those kinds of areas, unlike Carlsbad and Oceanside, what have you, the cities where the first responders are much closer to the incident. So this app is, I think, extremely important. If you can get cell service out in those communities and you've got somebody who's trained in this compression type CPR, they can immediately go to Lazy H or whatever they might be right down the road and assist that person while the first responders get there. And I would just tell you, if a first responder is coming from Escondido to Palma Valley, you're looking at about 25 minutes, period. And that's too long for somebody who's had a heart attack. So as Ron mentioned, cardiac arrest can happen to anyone at any time. Many of our victims are first-timers. They feel healthy. They look healthy. There's no reason to believe that heart disease or any other risk factor is available. But we know those sudden incidents will happen. This is when the app that Ron was talking about comes in place. As you know, we have a couple of apps. We have the last fire app when we had the huge fire in North County. San Diego Emergency was right there. They're dispatching to us all the time. So this is what this app will do for those who can sign up for it. And in North County, a lot of our dispatch comes out of the Carlsbad area, North County Fire. So that's where that will get dispatched. In the Fallbrook area, we have North County Fire also. That will be dispatched to those communities. So it's something that is not forgotten once you leave the city of San Diego. It's something we need, extremely important, and that's why I joined Ron on this, because it's important that people understand this. Today, as I came down here from the county office, as you know, we have on the second, well, I'm sure we must have three because I didn't go to the second floor, but we have these defibrillators on every floor. You pass it on the first floor as you walk in, and you'll pass it on the third floor where we came from. So I'm sure we have four, one on every floor. You don't really notice them unless it's brought up to your attention. But today, from noon to 3, we will, down at the county administration office, by our new water park, we'll be holding class on this compression CPR for anyone who wants to be involved and learn how to do that. Right now, if you go down in the parking garage and you're going to go to that class at noon or 1 o'clock, just tell them that you're there on county business and the parking is free. That's important. We didn't realize when we created this amusement park down there that it was going to wind up with so much parking. That's another issue we'll have to talk to Ron about. Anyway, I won't go into the park. Anyway, from 10 to 4 today, up at Moonlight Beach, American Medical Response is teaching compression only CPR right there in Encinitas. And along with finding the AEDs, the automatic external defibrillators that can save a life. Several years ago, Ron and I and the board put these defibrillators throughout the county, and I have a number of them in North County. But it's I think a great app that's going to come to show you where they're at. We have some in major shopping centers. We have some in major stores, but everyone doesn't know where those are at. So we need to make sure that happens. The AEDs are used only about 3% of the time when they're needed. And so that first responder person who gets there before the ambulance gets there, or the fire department, or whoever might be responding, extremely important, as Ron mentioned, the blood flow to the brain, to the rest of the body. Finally, I'd like to say, especially to Mayor Faulkner, I want to thank you for your commitment to help funding this. North County Dispatch Center, I promise we will continue to fund our portion of this PulsePoint service. It's extremely important. And now I'd like to turn to Chula Vista Fire Chief Dave Hanaman, who is the president of the San Diego Fire Chiefs Association. Dave?
Thank you, Supervisor Horn. First of all, I'd like to just mention that all the fire departments in San Diego County are very excited about supporting this new app and this program. As president of the county chiefs, we are working very hard to get all of our departments registered and ready to go with that. I'd like to start by explaining a little difference between sudden cardiac arrest and heart attack. Both those terms were used today. They are not necessarily the same, though. A heart attack occurs when blood vessels in the heart get clogged, preventing blood flow to sections of the heart muscle. And a heart attack can lead to sudden cardiac arrest, triggering an abnormal heart rhythm. So sudden cardiac arrest may be compared to the electrical problem versus contrast to a heart attack is more of a pump problem. And what really is making the difference here is to keep them going, use the AED when they have that electrical problem. Without oxygen-rich blood, permanent brain damage or death can occur in less than 8 minutes. So time is really of the essence here, as mentioned before. After 10 minutes of being in sudden cardiac arrest, there's little chance of resuscitation. So our region is very fortunate to have an excellent and dedicated group of professional first responders throughout the county. Every day they're out there saving lives. Even in the modern urban settings, the response times for our professional rescuers commonly approach these time frames to be able to get there. But we can't be in everywhere in every instant. The American Heart Association estimates that effective bystander CPR provided immediately after sudden cardiac arrest can double or triple a person's chance of survival. But statistics show that only 32% of the cardiac arrest victims get CPR from a bystander. So we're hoping that this is going to make the difference, that every time that our first responders go out there, when we arrive, there's a bystander already doing CPR. We know that that's going to make the difference. Then our paramedics can start providing the other life-saving care that is needed there. By downloading the PulsePoint app, the public and my colleagues in the emergency response community can bridge that CPR gap that's needed everywhere. I would urge everyone with the appropriate training to take this next digital step. At this point, now I'd like to introduce Tom Johnson, who has a very personal sudden cardiac story to share.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief Hanaman. It's a real honor to stand here before you. My name is Tom Johnson. I'm married to the beautiful lady over here, Christine Johnson, and I've got 3 beautiful daughters. I'm a native San Diegan and a retired naval officer. I died 8 months ago while working out at a gym the day after Thanksgiving. And why do I say that? I say that because I went 8 to 10 minutes without a heartbeat. Yes, I'm a walking miracle. A little bit about my exercise background. I started running along the shores of Mission Bay when I was 5 years old. I completed my first marathon when I was 10 in 1975. I completed the Ironman at age 16 in 1981, 3 Boston marathons, and countless others. In short, I've been active and fit my entire life. And yet 8 months ago, I suffered a sudden cardiac arrest working out in a gym the day after Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you, I really have no memories of that day. I just remember waking up in a hospital with a tube down my throat, being really unhappy, and wondering why I was there. But what saved me were a number of factors: divine intervention and a survival chain of people and medical treatment facilities that kept me alive. It started with my wife, Christine. Christine is also a Navy pediatrician, and another doctor, Dr. Laura LaFranchise from UCSD, who immediately recognized what had happened, and they commenced textbook CPR on me for roughly 8 minutes. 8 minutes later, the first responders from Fire Station 21 at Pacific Beach arrived and shocked me back to life. They transported me to Scripps Memorial Hospital, where I spent 3 days in a coma. Ultimately, I went to Naval Medical Center San Diego for my final treatment and then to be released. They all had a key role in me being here today, and I wish to thank them all. But there's no question that without that immediate bystander CPR, none of the rest of it would have been possible. As you've already heard today, the first minutes are absolutely critical for that assist. And now with the PulsePoint app, we can make a real difference here in San Diego, as it already has in so many other cities across the country. For just today in San Diego, based on historical numbers, 10 San Diegans will die of a sudden cardiac arrest. And I'm thrilled to know that the leadership here in San Diego is committed to bringing this life-saving technology that will empower bystanders to take immediate, meaningful action until the pros, like you see behind me, come and take over. I would strongly encourage all San Diegans to download the app today and explore all of its features. I'd also encourage all San Diegans to renew their own CPR training for their family and their friends and their coworkers. And I ask you to look around for AEDs in your workplaces, your stores, your gyms, your churches. And if they're not there, ask why not. I have no doubt that the citizens of San Diego, using the PulsePoint app, can make a real difference right here at home. We can make that difference. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Tom. Very, very powerful words. Thank you all for coming. You can see this has been a team effort through and through, and it gives us the ability to, all of us collectively, to help save lives. Thank you for being here, and we'll make ourselves available to answer any questions one-on-one. Thank you. Thanks, Ron.